Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN. Richmond, it's time to get your morning going. Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans. This is Fitz The Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick.
Struck him live from the capital of the Commonwealth.
Where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first. If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now, live from the capital of the Commonwealth, it's The Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Thursday, July 10th morning. Thank you for clocking in, getting your day started with us right here on Fitz The Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Alan alongside right here on 1061 ESPN Richmond. Also on the ESPN Richmond app, espnrichmond.com, and live streaming as we speak on YouTube. If you want to watch the stream, just type in ESPN Richmond in the search bar. We'll pop right on up, hit watch live, and you can watch all things Fitz the Bill. And while you're there, might as well hit subscribe and then head on over to Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA on YouTube and hit subscribe as well. You can be part of the show through the stream by commenting over there on YouTube. And you can also, as always, call, text in 804-327-0888. If you want to have a crazy take like Baker Mayfield is better than Dak Prescott, like we had on the text line yesterday, try to one-up that. You got to believe your take, but try to one-up the fact that Baker Mayfield is better than Dak Prescott. That was a wild conversation we had on the text line yesterday, but it was a ton of fun. And today we have got a fantastic show coming at you. There's been some updates in terms of this collusion case between the NFL and the NFLPA, so we'll dive into that a little bit. And then, yesterday I was listening to the Mashup Hour with Matt and Bob, and Espo called in. Espo, a consistent caller right here on Fitz the Bill, and he called into them. I won't be upset that he's cheating on this show, but any call into 1061 ESPN Richmond's a good call. He did raise an interesting point. What if AI controlled conference realignment? And so I took that idea and I kind of ran with it because realignment is kind of hanging over specifically the group of 6, the group of 5 right now in college football. With Texas State moving to the Pac ? There's now a spot left to fill in the Sun Belt, and they have a couple of different routes they can go. Louisiana Tech they could add Western Kentucky. Ohio from the MAC has been reached out to, and there's been some conversations between the Sun Belt and Ohio. They could also just stand pat at 13 schools and not add one. But Espo brought up a good point. Why doesn't AI get involved with this? So I took that prompt, I threw it to ChatGPT, and we'll break down the ChatGPT conference realignment coming up later today. Of course, news or snooze. And we'll react to Devin Booker becoming the highest paid American sports athlete in terms of average annual value. Just an insane extension that he signed. So a loaded show on this Thursday. Alan, how are you doing on this little bit rainy, back-to-back pretty big storm day?
Oh, I didn't even realize it was raining. I got here so early. I had to drop my wife off at the airport, so I've been here a while. Yeah,
man, how was the airport this morning?
The airport was actually really busy.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of put my foot in my mouth. Yeah, it was. I jokingly told her, I was like, why are you in such a rush? It's so early. Like, it's never busy at Richmond this early. And wow, it was actually busy. And she shot me a look like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to work.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I've
been here a while. And again, didn't even realize it was raining. That's how long I've been here.
All you had to do was look up from the computers, man. That is how dedicated Alan is.
No, yeah. Job. Once I start working, I just
I'm the same
focused.
way.
Yep.
When I start working, I forget to eat. I'm locked in.
There are times
I won't move.
There are times where I'll go back there, I'll work in the afternoon, and I look up and Matt's leaving, and I'm like, dang, I've been here that long.
You're like, man, the mashup hour's already done.
Yeah, like I missed the mashup. I actually did miss the mashup hour yesterday. Like I was working. I heard Matt at 3, and then it was Bob at 6 or 5.
It was a good mashup hour.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
Espo brought up a great point. I can't wait to die. Here's just some of the names. I didn't tell ChatGPT to come up with the names for conference realignment, but we've got some names. The Southeastern Premier Conference, the Mid-Atlantic Elite Conference, the Midwest Gridiron Conference. I mean, 10 out of 10 names. All right, let's head out to the phone lines to start out this Thursday morning. Bruce is on line one. Good morning, Bruce. How we doing?
Good morning, Fitz. Good morning, Alan. So I've been on a 2-day hiatus, but I'm back.
I know we missed you there, Bruce. I was curious where you were these last 2 days, but I'm glad you're calling in now.
So look, guys, in the world of crazy takes, Fitz missed this call yesterday to Matt Joseph, but I called it on July the 9th, which was yesterday. I watched on July the 7th the 2026 NBA Finals. Get ready to laugh, Alan, because the 2026 NBA Finals, which was played, a preview, was played July 7th in Utah, will be the 76ers versus OKC. Let that simmer.
All right. All right. I appreciate the hot take.
Is that a hot take?
It's a humid take. I don't know if it's hot, but it's definitely humid. Are you putting all the chips in the VJ Edgecombe basket, Bruce?
Not only that, Embiid will play more than 65 games.
Now that's a hot take.
Now that one, that's hotter than you saying that the 76ers will be in the NBA Finals. You'll think he'll play 65 plus games?
Maxey will win MVP this year.
All right, now you just said this.
I love the Philadelphia fandom.
I'm putting it all out there. I'm throwing all chips in the middle of the table.
This is why we banned NBA talk until October.
I'm putting it all out there.
All right. I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, I love a good fan take. Like this is equivalent to me saying Sam Darnold is going to win the MVP for the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, I love it. I mean, there is a path for the 76ers. You're not completely off base. There is a path for the 76ers to win the NBA or get to the NBA Finals, right? Joel Embiid just has to return to MVP form. You have Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, have him play well. You bring back Jared McCain, who was playing extremely well to start his rookie year. Then he got hurt. I mean, there is a path forward for the Philadelphia 76ers. So I don't think you're totally crazy, Bruce.
Well,
I think you're totally crazy.
I knew Alan was going to say that, but I will tell you.
I'm ever the optimist on this side of the glass.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Fitz. But if Maxey averages, guys, 31 plus a game, if he's able also to contribute 4 to 7 assists a game, as well as maybe rebound, 5 to 7 rebounds a game, I think those would be MVP type numbers.
So I heard if Maxey turns into Michael Jordan overnight,
if Maxey is LeBron averaging 31, 7, and 4, yeah, that is an MVP type season.
That's a lot to ask.
That is.
I like Maxey. I think he'll take a jump, but man, that would be more than a jump. That would be through this.
That'd be a 5-point per game jump from his last season.
Which would be a lot, especially if you got a healthy Embiid.
Yeah. There is a route, guys. I know y'all don't see it, but I do. But let me just say this, though. I'm gonna wrap with this. So I was hoping initially, I was hoping to go out to Vegas this week for the kickoff of the Summer League out in Vegas, and so just wasn't able to finalize some stuff. But with that being said, some of that is hesitancy. I know y'all. Do y'all recall a couple of years ago at Summer League, they had this 7.0 or 7.1, 7.2 earthquake during the game?
Yeah.
Do y'all recall?
I remember that.
I do not remember that.
Yeah, I remember that because the
Jumbotron,
the Jumbotron or scoreboard was shaking, and that's what initially had people alerted that it was
happening.
Yeah, because on the court, I don't think anybody felt it at first.
They thought they were just dribbling the ball really hard.
No, I don't even think it was as noticeable until they saw that sway, and they were like, "Whoa!" I remember that though.
Yeah, man. And so you never know. I mean, there's a fault line there, but hopefully none of that happens. But I'm going to tell you guys, Summer League is going to be straight fire
I'm
this
excited.
year because, yeah, I mean, I know everyone is saying it's a Cooper flag, but there is so much talent that came out of this first round. And then you have guys also trying, to fit in their place, to find out where they fit with their teams. And so I think you're going to see all of these games over the next 2 weeks are going to be great games, in my opinion. But I bring a bias.
I think they'll be fun. I think I'm very excited to see Ace Bailey's had a good little start. I'm excited to see how Cooper plays, how the Wizards kind of mesh together with their young guys, how they all look. But there are some fun storylines to keep an eye on for Summer League.
Yes, sir, guys. And I will leave y'all with this. I was so impressed yesterday of what I saw the 3 rounds of tennis yesterday. And then, it's when you're playing the number 1 seed, that's a tough match. But you look at the first game, you were up 2-0 in the break, so it was 6-6, and Ben went up, got first 3 points in the break, and Center just happened to get 7 straight after that, and that I think that sort of changed the tide. And there was the second match he had, they were 4-4. So there was some good tennis play by Ben, and I'm so glad to see how well these guys domestically are playing, especially on these big tournaments. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I promise. Had a chance last night to see the Clarissa Heath story. I don't know if either of you two know about who Clarissa Heath is, the boxer who won back-to-back gold medals.
Clarissa Shields?
Clarissa Shields. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
What an impressive Flint, Michigan. I had a chance to watch the movie last night.
Yeah,
all right.
The Midwest puts out some good boxes, and she's one of them for sure.
Flint feels like they put out like a per capita. They got a lot of athletes. Bruce, thank you so much for calling in. Have a wonderful Thursday.
Thanks, guys.
There goes Bruce.
Yeah, don't get me started on the boxing history of the Midwest, man. It's deep, and they're probably underrated in the sport historically. But yeah, she's one of the greats too. Yeah.
We got a couple of texts that rolled in. One was from Jordan. Shout out Jordan. He's put together this fantastic streaming setup. He asked, what do you think about the Commanders alternate jersey that they released yesterday? Talked about it a bit yesterday. We will get to that again later on in the show because it kind of dovetails into a full take I have about what Josh Harris has done with the Washington Commanders. I mean, just a complete 180 with that team. From being just the laughing stock of the entire league. Dan Snyder was just, controversy, scandal after scandal. And then into what this Josh Harris era is, which is bringing in Dan Quinn, which was their 4th choice, but he has succeeded exceptionally well. Jaden Daniels, you're making the right draft picks, the right hires, the right free agency signings. You now release this alternate jersey that has complete and utter rave reviews from everyone. We'll talk about that a little bit because the image reconstruction that he has done from the Washington football team, Commanders, Redskins, whatever you call them, has been amazing to see. Another text we got. I love this text. We called for it. We called for it and we got it. Good morning, gentlemen. Let's get this party started. Mike Vick was a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. I'm stamping that hot take. Vic played in a much harder era and had less talent around him. Are we just disrespecting Warren Dunn? Warren Dunn? Florida State guy. Alan is just staring at
this
man.
Text. So look, hear me out.
Vic is a more important and a more
you will never, we will never, and I'm saving you here. We can't be in Virginia and not say Michael Vick's not better than Lamar Jackson, I feel like, which is fine. We'll be homers.
I'll say it. Lamar is a better quarterback than Michael Vick. Michael Vick is a more influential quarterback. Without Mike Vick, there might not be a Lamar Jackson.
No, I can agree with that.
So I think Mike Vick is a more influential quarterback. Heck, without a Randall Cunningham, there might not be a Mike Vick.
Oh my God, QB1 Randall Cunningham was the guy. He will always be my guy.
But so, Mike Vick. I respect this take though. Mike Vick, a better quarterback.
I disagree with the harder air.
I don't know about less talent either around him. Like what wide receiver 1 for Lamar Jackson has been Rashad Bateman or Hollywood Brown or Odell Beckham or DeAndre Hopkins. He's never had granted, now he's got Derrick Henry in that backfield with him, which is a huge help, and he's always had a very good offensive line, but he's never been throwing to world beaters on the outside. So I'm not sure if, Michael Vick had some talent around him at the specialty positions, but I like that.
I have to agree with I have to disagree with the harder era just because the athleticism that Lamar sees on a regular basis now is way, way different than Michael Vick, even though you would think it's not, because NFL has always had supreme athletes.
They also weren't ready for a Michael Vick in the early 2000s when Michael Vick came in. So he keeps the ball. Everyone has their backs turned to the quarterback. And then they're like, wait, he can run it? Wait, he can run it that fast? That's not fair. That's not fair. Where Lamar Jackson, you have linebackers who are specifically created from a very young age to stop Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and the average defensive lineman
yes.
is keeping up with Lamar Jackson right now.
Average defensive lineman
at least beating him to the edge more often than Michael Vick saw in his era. I think Julius Peppers was the only one that during that time would put fear in people's heart.
Yeah, every defensive lineman now 6'4", 250 and can run a 4.5.
Yeah,
back then they were 6'4", 270 running a 4.9.
Back then it was two of them, Javon Curse and Julius Peppers.
And Vic only had to play Julius Peppers twice in the NFC South.
He still talks about that too, which is great. There's a lot of clips of him when people ask him about guys that he went against or the first time he ever felt like he was scared or something like that. He references Peppers a lot, man, because
Peppers is. I think we all forget collectively of how dominant.
I don't. He beat Florida State by himself when he was at North Carolina. I'll never forget it. I'm sorry.
That's true. But Mike Vick, I'll give it to you, was a more instrumental, more influential quarterback on today's game than Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback if we are talking quarterback than Michael Vick was. Drop your hottest takes. 804-327-0888. Let's make this a hot take Thursday.
Some of these,
but you've got to believe. You have to believe that it's true. You can't just text in and say something completely outlandish. You have to genuinely believe this hot take.
That's the problem. Sorry, Bruce, that you genuinely believe what you said.
I'm
concerned.
I genuinely believe it. If you got stats to back it up, send us the stats. 804-327-0888. While we're doing that, let's update you with what you may have missed in the wide world of sports.
This is your Fitz The Bill morning update, getting you caught up on some of the biggest stories in sports.
All right, last night, Messi scored 2 goals in Inter Miami's 2-1 win over the New England Revolution. And now you may be asking, Jack, why are we talking about MLS right now? Well, it's because Messi is the first MLS player in the history of the league to record 4 straight multi-goal games. Also in soccer, yesterday in the FIFA Club World Cup, PSG utterly dominated Real Madrid at MetLife Stadium, winning 4-0. PSG now advances to play Chelsea on Sunday. On to the other football. Now there's been an update in the collusion case between the NFL and the NFLPA. Pablo Torre, if you remember about 2 weeks ago, Pablo Torre and Mike Florio reported on the podcast, Pablo Torre Finds Out, that there was a confidentiality agreement in place that kept the details of a 61-page ruling over alleged collusion in contract negotiations. Pablo Torre Finds Out published the document and created a big stir among union members. Now, according to reporting from Don Van Natta Jr. and Kalen Collar, it confirms that the two sides agreed to keep the findings secret, and now the NFLPA is filing an official appeal. In the NBA, SGA, it was fun. Fun while it lasted. It was very brief. You shined bright like a supernova. You're no longer the highest paid player in the NBA. That's now Devin Booker. He signed a new extension yesterday, a 2-year, $145 million max extension, giving him an average annual value of $72.5 million, surpassing the $71 million mark SGA had just hit. Booker is now the highest paid athlete in American sports based on annual value. In the MLB, the Nationals got a road win over the Cardinals 8-2. It snapped the Nats' 4-game losing streak. The Dodgers, their losing streak extends to 6. They got swept by the Brewers. The Phillies destroyed the Giants 13-0. And the Braves, you got to give it up for them, 9-2 win over the Athletics. Yankees yesterday designated DJ LeMahieu for assignment. The two-time batting champion had been with the Yankees for the past 7 seasons, and now he is owed $22 million through next season after he signed a contract extension back in 2021. So that'll do it for the sports update on this Thursday morning. We're going to get a quick break in here, come back, talk a little bit more about that collusion case as it takes an interesting turn in the NFL and NFLPA. That'll be right on the other side of this break.
6.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Catch up on the latest horse racing news with Off to the Races live broadcast, 10 to 11 every Saturday morning on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
It's time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
How would you like a free dinner? That's right, a free dinner. Hi, I'm Jeff Trice with the Insurance Doctor, and I've been telling you for years how nobody beats the Insurance Doctor's prices. And now I'll prove it. Just bring your current auto insurance policy into the Insurance Doctor location nearest you, and if we can't beat your price, I'll buy you dinner at the restaurant of your choice. So now is the perfect time to shop your auto insurance, because I'll either save you a ton of money on your car insurance or dinner's on me. Either way, you get paid. Our competitors like to say they can save you money on your car insurance, but only the Insurance Doctor has a low price guarantee. So no matter who you're with, we will beat their price. It's guaranteed. Oh, and by the way, I'll throw in your own personal agent for free. Just bring your current auto insurance policy into the Insurance Doctor location nearest you. I'll either save you a ton of money on your car insurance or dinner's on me. So call us today and see why I say nobody beats the Insurance Doctor.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So the kids' back-to-school lists were extra long.
Extra long sounds extra expensive.
Staples had everything at amazing prices.
Suspiciously amazing if you ask me.
Some items were just 25 cents. Plus, as an Easy Rewards member, I got 30% back in points on my kids' school supplies.
Jumpin' jellyfish. Your back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 719. Exclusions apply. Single use per week up to $60 in points. See app for details.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
Expect merging delays on 195 northbound between Laburnum Avenue and Bryant Park interchange. The exit ramp is narrowed due to an accident on 64 westbound coming off the ramp to 9 Mile Road. We're also seeing some delays between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95. And heading east on 64, expect congestion between Staples Mill Road and Bryant Park interchange.
This has been Ingram with the Atlanta Braves. Keep it locked here on 106.1 ESPN, your home for the Atlanta Braves all season long.
Welcome back into Fitz The Bill on this Thursday, July 10th morning. We talked about it a little bit in segment number 1, along with Michael Vick being a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. Great start. Who's the hottest take so far, Bruce or Texter? Bruce said Tyrese.
I'm ignoring Bruce, so I'm going Texter.
Bruce said Tyrese Maxey's about average, 31, 7 and 6, 7 and 4.
I love Bruce. I swear I do, man. That hurt my heart there a little bit.
I appreciate the 76ers love, man. I appreciate the 76ers.
He's that
love.
committed.
Look, the 76ers have a better chance of making it to the NBA Finals than Tyrese Maxey does, averaging 31, 7 and 4.
I will agree with that.
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
And then Michael Vick is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson is the Texter's hot take. All right, so yesterday, Don Van Natta Jr. and Kalen Collar, they reported between the NFL and the NFLPA, essentially confirming the collusion stuff that was happening between the NFL and the owners not to give quarterbacks fully guaranteed money in the wake of the Deshaun Watson contract. Pablo Torre finds out it is a podcast by Pablo Torre. He had Mike Florio on about 2 weeks ago, and they published the documents between the NFL and the NFLPA that essentially said, keep this finding a secret. So the arbitrator found that there was no collusion that happened, but then also said in the same breath, there is a lot of evidence here that shows collusion may have happened. It was a very interesting outcome. And the NFLPA and the NFL worked together to keep that document a secret. Then Don Van Natta Jr., Kalen Collar, they confirmed that report from the podcast, but also went on to report that the NFLPA is now filing an official appeal. And now that the NFLPA is kind of not falling apart, but there's some seeds of distrust now within the NFLPA because none of that was ever given to the executive committee of the NFLPA. There have been a lot of player reps that are like, we should have been aware of this. A lot of player reps speaking on anonymity. They are voicing their displeasure with the NFLPA. And then just coming out probably, I want to say like an hour or two ago. It is an hour and a half ago. Don Van Natta Jr. and Kalen Collar are now reporting that the NFLPA head is also working for a investment firm, is working for a firm that is investing in the NFL. So he's kind of double dipping here. And the NFL Players Association is potentially trying to oust him. This is Lloyd Howell Jr. is a paid part-time consultant for the Carlyle Group. The Carlyle Group is one of a select group of league-approved private equity firms now seeking minority ownership in NFL franchises.
Yeah, that was the most crazy thing that I read out of the second article that's come out.
The head of the NFLPA
is literally working with
trying to be an owner, and his job is to represent the players, not the owners.
No conflict there. Well, their explanation was even funnier. They're like, well, he doesn't have access to that kind of stuff, and the group hasn't tried to buy any stake in any ownership. It's the principle.
It's the principle.
Yeah, it's the principle. He's not supposed to be doing both roles.
And this is the same guy that withheld information from the NFLPA in terms of what that collusion case said. This is going to blow up in the face of Lloyd Howell Jr. I mean, this is looking rough for him because that collusion case, it was ruled that no collusion happened.
Collusion definitely happens. I don't care what they say.
Collusion definitely happened because arbitrator Christopher Droney, he ruled that there wasn't sufficient evidence of collusion. Man, legal jargon, man, really trips me up sometimes. But also that there was not sufficient evidence of collusion by owners in contract negotiations. Droney, though, did conclude that the NFLPA, with their evidence, showed, quote, a clear preponderance of evidence that Commissioner Roger Goodell and the league's general counsel had urged owners to restrict guaranteed money in players' contracts.
So I think that this is all the Browns' fault, and that Deshaun Watson.
In conclusion, Deshaun Watson has ruined
the
NFL.
Deshaun Watson contract would have made me break some rules too, because there's no way I'm giving anybody close to that. Like as far as the 100% guarantee on that type of money. And so I've always thought like it made sense. Like people probably got together after that along the way. Because if you look, I don't think anybody's gotten close to like maybe 67 or 70% is about as close as people have gotten in the quarterback market on their guarantee percentage. There had to be collusion for that.
So, and the real sticking point is not long after that collusion case was found to be not enough evidence, and they made the agreement. Howell, the NFLPA president, briefed the executive committee, which includes 10 active players and the union president. He briefed them about the agreement not coming to the NFLPA's side. But according to several sources briefed on the meeting, the NFLPA president informed the committee that the NFLPA had lost its collusion grievance, but did not share any of the details from Christopher Droney, the arbitrator's findings.
Of course not.
All the while, this guy is a paid part-time consultant for an investment group, a private equity firm that is seeking minority ownership in NFL franchises. Something's a little fishy there.
I mean, it's always been fishy anyway. But this is definitely a smoking gun for fishiness. Like the other two presidents, I didn't agree with some of the things that they
yeah, but DeMaurice Smith was actually like for the players.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I never felt like they were not for the players. I think sometimes they were too much for the players because they wouldn't even advise the players on situations and scenarios where they're like, this isn't really good for you, you know? But I guess that's not what they're supposed to do. They're just there to be like, hey, this is what they want.
Yeah. The NFLPA, it's one of the weakest players associations.
Is the weakest players association.
MLS might have a weaker one.
Well, MLS isn't really an entity where like standing up next to the
Rude.
NFL. I'm just saying.
You see what Messi did?
Of our three major sports, it's by far the weakest.
It's by far the weakest. And Howell, the current NFLPA president who took over like a year and a half ago, is now making it even weaker. Yikes.
Makes me appreciate the Steelers even more because they always fought the NFLPA on a lot of the stuff they agreed to.
Yeah.
So
we got another text. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to have just as good as a rookie season as Jaden Daniels.
Is that from Bruce?
No, that's from Kobe.
Kobe. Let's go back to the stats there. Look at what Jaden Daniels did and think about how that would be probably a career year for a Browns quarterback.
It would probably be the best year of a Cleveland Brown ever.
So I don't know, man. It's asking a lot.
Shedeur's got to figure out how to drive a car in Cleveland first without speeding.
We don't even know if
he may not even make a roster.
Yeah, which
he probably will. But there's they got four quarterbacks: Flacco, Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders.
If he doesn't make the rosters, I need an explanation.
I mean, that's true. That's very true. But he still has to battle, not even to start, but for a roster spot.
And I honestly don't think the Browns are going to start with a rookie quarterback, even if it was, I think, Shedeur Gabriel. I think Flacco is going to be the guy they start with.
I think Flacco is going to be the starter. I think Kenny Pickett will get cut, and they're going to carry two rookies.
Yeah.
But Shedeur Sanders having just as good as a rookie season as Jaden Daniels, I like that hot take. That is a hot take.
That should go Cam Ward, because we know Cam Ward is going to start. So we at least need that option.
Yeah, maybe Cam Ward's going to have as good of a season
because Cam is going to start.
Yeah, what other rookie quarterback is going to start? That's it.
Probably that's it. Oh, no.
Jackson Dart,
Tyler Shuck will start,
but he's playing for the Derek Carr retired.
Yeah, because I would assume he can beat. No, I'm pausing because I'm assuming he's going to beat Spencer Rattler,
but maybe not. Spencer Rattler might, but you got Jackson Dart will probably start in like week 8.
Yeah, Dart's not going to start the season either. I don't.
He can't beat out Richmond's own Russell Wilson. Collegiate's pride and joy.
I don't think they would let him beat out Jameis Winston either.
I don't think Jameis is going to make the team.
I would keep him on.
Tommy DeVito. Tommy Cutlets, baby. Tommy Cutlets.
What a terrible QB room to have your career staked on there.
That's a horrible QB room.
That's a good question.
Who has the worst QB room?
No, would you rather stake your QB room on Tyler Shuck or on the Giants? Like the Saints QB room or the Giants QB room? What would you rather stake your
I'd rather stake it on the New Orleans Saints. but not by a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because Russell Wilson doesn't spark joy in me. Jameis Winston sparks fear. Jackson Dart, I was not a fan of Jackson Dart coming out. Still not a fan of Jackson Dart. I think you can only read half of a football field at a time.
Yeah, I didn't.
And then Tyler Shuck, he's old, so maybe he just knows how to play football at this point.
I didn't understand the Jackson Dart jump. Even seeing him down at the Senior Bowl, like he didn't stand out. Tyler Shuck actually, I thought, got a good bump at the Senior Bowl.
He got a great bump at the Senior Bowl,
and he looked to be the most quality quarterback down there. Honestly,
hey, look, he's old.
Yeah, he's 30.
I think he's 26 or 7.
I know, I'm joking.
No, I know,
30, but he is like 26, 27.
He's like the second coming to Brandon Whedon. Remember that draft?
He's
I think it was 2012.
He's the last quarterback drafted that was born in the 90s, I believe.
So now my childhood is a throwback, and now you're saying the decade I was born in, there's only one quarterback drafted.
I'm just letting you know that was what was said during the draft.
Is this what it feels like to get old?
Yeah, welcome to it. You ain't there yet. Still,
I can barely walk. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. All right, let's get a break in here, and we'll be back with more Fitz the Bill.
Summertime in RVA means one thing. Golf season is here. If you're looking for the perfect golf course, head over to Queenfield Golf Club, located just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville. Queenfield offers a beautifully secluded 18-hole course, spacious driving range, and professionally maintained practice greens and bunkers. Schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve a spot online at queenfieldgolf.com and make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite course.
Your trash is treasure at CNC Colored Recycling. From copper wire to radiator ends, cans to lead batteries, CNC Colored Recycling will pay cash or check for your unwanted scrap metal. No load is too large or too small. Don't dump it, recycle it, and get paid at CNC Colored Recycling, just south of Maple Street on Route 1 in Ashland. Free local container service is available too. CNC Colored Recycling, open every weekday and a half day on Saturday. Check the latest cash scrap prices online right now at cccullet.com. That's CCCULLET.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Golf season is here at Hunting Hawk Golf Club. Plan your next golf outing for your kids' athletic team, church group, or fundraiser online at huntinghawk.com. That's huntinghawk.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
Taking a look at your daily weather forecast, it's currently 74 degrees and cloudy. Cooler temperatures today than earlier this week with a low of 71 and a high of 84. The National Weather Service has put out a flood watch until 2 a.m. on Friday, July 11th. Cloudy conditions are expected to continue all day with chances of rain later tonight and wind gusts up to 12 miles per hour.
Hey, it's Delvin Joyce, JMU Hall of Famer and former New York Giant. Listen, make sure you tune in to Talkin' Dukes every Wednesday on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Go Dukes!
Welcome back in, Fitz the Bill. So, yesterday, I was listening to the Mashup Hour, which you can catch every day right here on 106.1 ESPN with Matt and Bob from 4 until 5 p.m. And Espo called in and was asking, because right now conference realignment is the hot thing when it comes to group of 5 schools, right? Texas State goes to the Pac ? That leaves an opening in the Sun Belt. What are they going to do? Are they going to poach from Conference USA? There's been rumors and speculation. Shane Metlin of the Daily News Record is reporting that the Sun Belt and Ohio of the MAC have been in contact about potentially filling that 14th spot. There's been talk around Louisiana Tech, Western Kentucky, maybe just waiting it out and seeing things out through this media rights deal. And then when everything blows up in 2030, 2031, then you can kind of reconfigure, maybe scoop up a couple American Athletic Conference teams. So that's all hanging over kind of the group of 5 college football fandoms right now. And Espo called in and said, why don't we do conference realignment with AI? We use AI for everything else. Why don't we use AI for conference realignment? And I thought, you know what? That is a great deal. Great idea. Because why not? So I threw the prompt.
Wait, I have an answer for that, though.
Okay, yeah, hit me.
We don't do that because we had the BCS and nobody liked that either. We got rid of computers doing our business in college. There's a reason for that.
I forgot about the BCS era.
Of course we did. We
So-
try to forget about that.
Yeah, that was rough. But for conference realignment, it makes a little bit of a sense, right? You can throw in this prompt like I did. And I said, all right, create football conferences based on these 4 criteria ranked 1 through 4 in terms of importance. Number 1, similar athletic budgets. So you're spending roughly the same. So it's not like LSU will be in the same division as Jackson State, right? You're not going to be in the same conference. So do it based off of similar athletic budgets. Then from there, do it based on geography. So I don't want Stanford, say, in the same conference as Virginia Tech. That would never happen, right, in the real world. So do it off of geography. Thirdly, do it based off of recent football success. Because, yeah, I mean, Harvard is an all-time great school, but they are FCS. They're playing the Ivy League, all that stuff. So do it based off of recent success. So it values the last 10 years a little bit more than the last 50. Then last, but certainly not least, well, in this case of the list, it is least, historic rivalries. Try to maintain some rivalries in there so that we're not just throwing it away just for it. So there's still some fan interest with there. Because coming up down the pipe in 2030, the media rights deal is going to be up for the Big Ten, Pac-12, and potentially the ACC because there's some exit window option for the ACC. So they could get out of the ACC media rights deal in 2030. If they pick up with the opt-in rights, it can go till 2036. But with what's coming in 2030, I would expect them to exit that media rights deal. And then in 2031, the Big 12, Sun Belt, and the American Athletic Conference are all up. So within the next 6 years, you can have 6 conferences, with 3 of them being power conferences, have their media rights deals come up. And right now, something that is holding back the Sun Belt quite a lot is their media rights deal, which is suboptimal. It is not comparable to what the American Athletic Conference was able to negotiate back a couple of years ago when the American Athletic Conference was trying to say they were one of the power conferences building off of the success of Cincinnati. They were able to capitalize on that and get a fantastic media rights deal. The Sun Belt is lacking behind. But coming up in the next 6 years, there's likely going to be a good amount of moving and shaking among teams. So let's go to ChatGPT. Let's put in these schools and let's see what conferences it spits out. You ready for this, Alan?
I'm not. I'm gonna hate it, but
All
go
right.
ahead.
Southeastern Premier Conference.
I don't even like the name.
The SPC. The SPC would have schools like Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Florida State, Miami, South Carolina, Clemson, Georgia Tech. Now, these are some big conferences. Bear with me. UCF, USF, Georgia Southern, LSU, Tennessee, Mississippi State.
I
don't hate it.
So there's no. It stopped at South Carolina. So no North Carolina teams.
No North Carolina. No, it's Clemson, South Carolina.
Clemson, South
Carolina. It stops at South Carolina because then we move to the Mid-Atlantic Elite.
Okay.
Which has Penn State, Pitt, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Maryland, Temple, James Madison, Liberty, and then it adds some FCS schools. Delaware, I guess Delaware's technically now FBS. Delaware, Villanova, and Richmond.
Villanova for football. So this basically just sounds like the 80s model.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, Chat GPT's trolling you.
It just took the 80s model and it was like, all right, here you go. Here you go. I am still working on this. This is going to be a summer project of mine to do full conference realignment. So I don't pay for Chat GPT.
No, I mean, most people don't. So
And so I'm only allowed a certain number of data analysis queries per day.
Yeah.
So I've run out of my data analysis queries running through this. And I realized it this morning and last night when I was doing it. It did not put North Carolina in a conference. UNC is not in a conference. NC State. So I do have to, Duke's not in a conference. So I do have to go back and tell it to do all of the FBS because for some reason ChatGPT just like forgets to do half of the FBS. But I think we're on the right track. I think we're on the right track with it. The Midwest Gridiron Conference.
You got to change these names.
Look, it's ChatGPT.
For marketing purposes, Chat GPT. Come on.
The MGC, the MWGC, that's pretty good. The Midwest Gridiron Conference would have Ohio State, Michigan State, Indiana, Purdue, Illinois, Northwestern, Cincinnati, Toledo, Miami of Ohio, Youngstown State, Illinois State, Southern Illinois. I don't hate the Midwest Grid. Now, the parity, the gap between Ohio State and Southern Illinois is pretty great.
And in Youngstown.
They played in a national championship in 2016.
Which is great. They got some.
They're
some
the
roots,
Penguins,
but they're not going to stand.
I think Bo Pelini's their athletic. No, he's their coach.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're respected at their level, but did it take into account the levels?
I told it to add FCS. So do you think when I redo this query, I should take out FCS schools?
I think you should.
But what about the Great Plains Alliance? This would include Nebraska, Kansas State, Missouri, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Northern Iowa, South Dakota, Missouri State, and Arkansas.
You can leave the North Dakota, South Dakota State teams in
Okay.
But FCS.
Yeah,
some of these programs don't belong.
Yeah, like you're right. Illinois State doesn't. Southern Illinois doesn't. Missouri State probably not. Looking at other schools like Idaho, no. Weber State, no. Montana State, maybe. Montana, maybe. But it's a fun thought. So I'm going to be working on this for the rest of the summer, trying to fine tune this so that I can create the perfect conference realignment that is what I will send to the NCAA for my entry into it all.
and tell them Chat GPT made it so they can scoff and say we got rid of
the BCS.
We got rid of
supercomputers.
Yeah.
Although looking back, I think if we did the computers now, it'd be better than the committee.
It would be.
I think it'd be better than the NCAA tournament committee. Bubba needs a bonus, man.
I mean, sadly, I feel like I trusted the BCS more than I trust the committee.
Well, now with the expanded college football playoff, I trust it a little bit more. But when it was just 4 teams and they left out Florida State, BCS would not have left out Florida State.
No, they wouldn't have.
So, but a lot of conference realignment is coming. There's the Sun Belt, whatever move they make is probably going to be inconsequential because when their media rights deal is up at the same time as the American Athletic Conference, assuming neither one work an extension out in the next couple of years, the Sun Belt may just sit back and be like, we are positioned better because these next 6 years are extremely important for both the American Athletic Conference and the Sun Belt. Why? Because both are kind of vying for that top group of 6, group of 5 like most elite conference.
Mm-hmm.
Sunbelt right now, I think they're pretty even with the American Athletic Conference. American Athletic Conference might have a slight edge with Memphis and Tulane. But if the Sunbelt can keep having these teams look really good, Mountain West is also in there. Mountain West expires, though, in 2026. And that's not really going to be a full part of what's happening on the East side. But Sunbelt, AAC, they're vying for who has the East Coast kind of dominance. Sunbelt has the good football. They have an NCAA tournament win, but the AAC has Memphis and Tulane. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Does the American Athletic Conference get poached over? Just something to monitor, because that is going to be an inflection point in conference football coming up in about the next 5 to 6 years.
Make them play for it. That's what I suggest. But yeah,
make them play for it. Give the champions, put the champions at the top. But put the champion of the Sun Belt against the champion of the American Athletic Conference. Let them play it out, and then they can decide the fate of both of those conferences.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
How would you like a free dinner? That's right, a free dinner. Hi, I'm Jeff Trice with the Insurance Doctor, and I've been telling you for years how nobody beats the Insurance Doctor's prices. And now I'll prove it. Just bring your current auto insurance policy into the Insurance Doctor location nearest you, and if we can't beat your price, I'll buy you dinner at the restaurant of your choice. So now is the perfect time to shop your auto insurance, because I'll either save you a ton of money on your car insurance or dinner's on me. Either way, you get paid. Our competitors like to say they can save you money on your car insurance, but only the Insurance Doctor has a low price guarantee. So no matter who you're with, we will beat their price. It's guaranteed. Oh, and by the way, I'll throw in your own personal agent for free. Just bring your current auto insurance policy into the Insurance Doctor location nearest you. I'll either save you a ton of money on your car insurance or dinner's on me. So call us today and see why I say nobody beats the Insurance Doctor.
Robinson's Plumbing Service is celebrating the red, white, and blue throughout July by offering 10% off repairs or replacements of any water heater. Depending on the unit you choose, that's a potential savings of $100 up to $500. Mention promo code Red Hot Savings at the time of booking to claim this limited time offer. Get red hot savings on hot water heaters by booking your Robinson's Plumbing Service appointment by calling 794-0918. That's 794-0918.
Robinson's Plumbing Service is looking for great plumbing technicians to join the Robinson's Plumbing Service family. A prime candidate must value being on time, consider their work at craft, and have a great work ethic. Robinson's Plumbing Service offers a great benefit package, which includes health insurance, vacation, and a retirement plan. Submit an application online at RobinsonsPlumbingService.com. That's RobinsonsPlumbingService.com. Robinson's Plumbing Service is an equal opportunity employer.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
The Black Friday in July event from Dell Technologies is here with great offers on trusted technology. You'll also discover huge deals on new AI-ready laptops like the Dell 14 Plus featuring Intel Core Ultra processors starting at $699.99. Save on top accessories, plus enjoy fast, free shipping and other benefits. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Looking to grow your local business? Let's team up. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, host of Fitz the Bill on ESPN Richmond. Together, we can craft on-air campaigns that drive customers right through your doors. Ready to collaborate? Email me, jack.fitzpatrick@summitmediacorp.com. It was a weird day when I realized Gnarls Barkley was CeeLo Green.
Yes.
When I was like, because when this song came out, I was pretty young, and I didn't realize that Gnarls Barkley was CeeLo Green.
Yes.
That's on me. Welcome back into Fitz the Bills. We wrap up hour number 1. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say it's a little bit more than CeeLo, but yeah.
It is. It's a whole band. I know. But when I heard it singing, I was like, this is the same guy that sings the FU song.
Yeah.
And then it all clicked. And I was like, oh, it all makes sense. Back to the hot take text line that we've got going on this Thursday morning. Drop your hot takes. The only rule is that you have to believe it. 804-327-0888. We do have an update on Bruce. He texted in and he said he forgot to add that the 76ers will win the championship in 2026. He had initially just said on his phone call that he thinks they'll make it to the NBA Finals. He's now doubling down and saying they're going to win. The Shedeur Sanders texter thinks Shedeur is going to have just as good of a rookie season as Jaden Daniels, then responded when we were talking about a little bit of Shedeur may not even make the team. He probably will, but he still has to battle not just for the starting job, but for a roster spot because they're carrying 4 quarterbacks. And texter said, I don't know, man. Who knows how much Joe Flacco has left? And everyone knows what Kenny Pickles offers. You're right, and that's why Kenny Pickles, also known as Pickett, will be in the unemployment line come week 1. He's not making the roster. Small hands. He's not making the roster, man. He's going to go back being an offensive quality control assistant for Pitt. This dude's not going to be making an NFL roster this season. He's done in the NFL. Now, Joe Flacco, he has enough left to get you through week 4. Then you'll realize he has nothing left, and then we'll figure out if it's Dylan Gabriel as QB2 or Shedeur Sanders as QB2. I just don't see Shedeur being the week 1 starter for Cleveland. I think it's going to be Joe Flacco first and probably Shedeur second. But if Shedeur comes in, maybe he has a good season as Jaden Daniels. There's a couple things standing in Shedeur's way, though. He doesn't have the same athleticism as Jaden Daniels. He doesn't have as much arm talent as Jaden Daniels. He doesn't have as much pocket awareness as Jaden Daniels. He's not as good of a player as Jaden Daniels. I'm not a big Shedeur guy. I think it's fine.
He's also got to have the mobility aspect.
He doesn't have the mobility of Jaden Daniels. I heard this. I heard someone say this about Shedeur Sanders, and they said Shedeur Sanders looks like if Deion Sanders had a son who didn't have athleticism.
Pretty much.
And that's exactly
like his best attribute will always be between the ears.
He's one of the best head on his shoulders.
Yeah, and I would say for a comp as far as like, he'll have a better season than another quarterback. For him, it would probably be better to throw him in with like a CJ Stroud because CJ didn't have the athleticism.
Yeah,
but
Dak.
Yeah,
or Dak is one of the best between the ears quarterbacks in the NFL. Not to bring up the whole Dak conversation that we had yesterday, but I think Dak is one of the best between the ear quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, this is also Achilles heel at times too.
And sometimes it's Achilles.
Yeah,
literally. We had another hot take. Get them in throughout the rest of the show. We still got an hour and 3 minutes on this Thursday edition. 804-327-0888. The Yankees will miss the playoffs and the Tigers will win the World Series. Yankees are in a bit of a slump. They just DFA'd DJ LeMahieu. Was he the glue? Was he the glue? We'll start hour number 2 with that one. The Yankees are going to miss the playoffs, and they're looking good. Hey, the Dodgers on a 6-game losing streak, their longest in years. Maybe they missed the playoffs. Maybe their magic has run out. Maybe they finally have run out of money.
This is Ben Ingram with the Atlanta Braves. When I'm on the road to D.C. and Baltimore, I always tune in to 106.1 ESPN Richmond for all my sports news. They've got you covered.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Ed Benkin. We start with more contract news from the NBA. The agent for Devin Booker told ESPN Shams Charania Booker has agreed to a 2-year, $145 million maximum contract extension with the Suns. It will keep Booker in Phoenix through the 2029-2030 season. Meanwhile, former NBA coach Frank Layden has died at the age of 93. He coached the Jazz from 1981 to 1989, also serving as their GM. He led Utah to its first playoff berth. To baseball, Ronald Acuna Jr. was back in the lineup for Atlanta tonight. He homered twice as the Braves beat the A's by a count of 9-2. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks slammed the Padres.
And now the 0-1. Swung on. That's hit well. Deep right field. Clean the bases. A grand slam. Geraldo Perdomo. His 10th of the season. And the Diamondbacks now open up a huge lead. It's 6-0 in the 5th.
The call on Arizona Sports 98.7 FM as Arizona beats San Diego 8-2. After losing 10 in a row going into the week, the Guardians turned things around with a sweep in Houston. They win it 4-2 over the Astros tonight. Twins over the Cubs 4-2. Yankees beat the Mariners 9-6. Red Sox have now won 6 in a row. They beat up again on the Rockies 10-2. In the WNBA tonight, Chicago beat Dallas 87-76. Rebecca Allen led the way with 27 points. Earlier today, Caitlin Clark was back for Indiana, but had just 10 points as the Fever lose to Golden State 80-61. Meanwhile, Vegas's Asia Wilson is questionable for tomorrow night's game against Washington. She is dealing with a right wrist injury.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, the Chiefs have dominated the AFC West for years. I'll tell you why their run just might end this season. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Statewide Sports Talk starts here. Border to Border with Matt Josephs on W291CL Lakeside Richmond and WURV HD2 Richmond. Bold takes, no filter. Lock in on 106.1 ESPN.
You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill, hour number 2, right here, live from the capital of the Commonwealth, 106.1 ESPN Richmond. However you're listening, thank you so much for tuning in. You got the ESPN Richmond app, espnrichmond.com. You've got our YouTube stream, live, local, all that fun stuff. Just type in ESPN Richmond in the search bar. We will pop right on up, and you can give us a watch right there. We got some hot takes rolling in. And the Yankees missing the playoffs, that is just a perfect way to dovetail into them DFAing DJ LeMahieu. I mean, I don't know why, but I have this love for DJ LeMahieu. I think he is such a fun player. Now, he hasn't been necessarily great this season. He has been hitting above 300 since June. He's been kind of dealing with some injuries the last couple of years, but the Yankees decided that he's not going to be their everyday second baseman. Jazz Chisholm will go back to his natural position at second base. And DJ LeMahieu, initially it was reported, would go to the bench and become kind of a platoon player. And now after that sat for about 5 hours, it's now being reported that they're DFAing him. So he'll become a free agent. They're going to try to trade him, all of that fun stuff. But he's still due $22 million through next season with the Yankees. So hopefully he lands on his feet. Hopefully he can get kind of this injury bug that's bitten him the last year and a half under control. Because when he's hitting at the plate, DJ LeMahieu, one of the best hitters in the MLB. One of the best hitters in the MLB.
Yeah, like I said during the break, DJ Tulowitzki, those guys, man.
Tulowitzki.
Yeah, I remember that era of Colorado baseball, and I always appreciate him as a degenerate and as a fan of baseball. It's good times when he was on the Rockies. And I don't know if I'm necessarily in on the Yankees missing, because the Yankees do this every year, and we'll know around August because they always make a run in August.
They're always bad in like the late parts of the dog days of summer hit them hard every year.
And if they're struggling in August, then for sure, let's sound the alarms, because you got to expect that as far as the wild card goes, they're better than they'll be ahead of everybody in the American League Central that's competing for the wild card.
Yeah.
And then if we got to go, and I'm not picking on your Mariners, but the Mariners and Angels, like, come on, man.
All right, just keep picking on them, man. I know they just have a plus 12 run differential, but they're good, I swear.
I'm just saying, I'm not sold on
They got the big dumper, man.
The big dumper.
They got the big dumper. Yeah, I wonder how much of it is the fact that they play in New York and sometimes those clubbing nights catch up to them.
Oh, of course.
You think that's what it is? You think they just like get caught up with their clubbing nights?
Again, if you're the king of New York, got to be hard to stay focused on a day-to-day basis.
It is funny though, because the Yankees are 28-17 at home this season, but 23-24 away from home.
Yeah, they probably
partying away from home.
I was gonna say probably have a lot of fun away from home. I mean, I'm impressed with the Blue Jays actually meeting expectations this year so far. So
exceeding expectations. I don't think anyone expected the Blue Jays to be first in the division. I mean, they're looking good.
The Tigers
2.5 game lead.
The Tigers winning the World Series isn't even a hot take.
Isn't that crazy to say though? Because the second of the hot take, Yankees will miss the playoffs. The Tigers will win the World Series. That is crazy that that's not a hot take.
Yeah, well, they got the best pitcher in the American League, at least
best run differential of any team in the American League.
Probably the best defense, just because they cover a lot of ground out there.
They've only allowed 360 runs this season.
And they've got the best home field record so far.
Tigers are a good baseball
they're
team.
They're going to be a tough out. And one thing about the Tigers and AJ Hinch is a baseball guy. I know we obviously had the scandal with the sign stealing, but I say he's a baseball guy because when he manages teams, he has no problem playing small ball if he needs to.
Yeah.
But he's also able to, the game within the game. Like get guys on base, put pressure on pitchers in certain situations, put his lineup in a place where you can't necessarily platoon it. Like he's a really intelligent manager.
He's very good.
And I think that's why you've seen this resurgence with the Tigers.
So it was such a great hire when they got him.
Yeah, it really was. Like controversy aside, for him to land on his feet. And obviously the Astros still got a World Series out of it with Dusty. So
but it's always like it's like Bill Belichick too, right? Like these very, very good coaches, and they're just so hell-bent on winning games that they're willing to do whatever it takes to win the games, that sometimes they cheat. And it then tarnishes their overall legacy. Like Bill Belichick is the greatest coach in NFL history, but some people will not accept that because of Spygate and Deflategate, which Deflategate may be more on Tom Brady, but the cheating scandals around Bill Belichick. For AJ Hinch, he's probably one of the best, if not the best manager in baseball right now, but people will not accept that because of his sign stealing scandal.
Yeah, and what you get with AJ Hinch, you get a manager that's going to maximize your roster. So if there's an ounce of talent there, he'll bring it out. I think
if it's an ounce of talent, he'll make it 2 ounces.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the keys with Bill. The problem with Bill that ultimately hurt him was his scouting. I think he should have had a team helping him at some point, especially after Tom Brady. Like quarterback's a hard position to get right.
I mean,
and he for 20 years he never had to worry about it.
Yeah, and just the brain drain that went on in New England for so long. Eventually, that was going to come back to bite him.
Yeah,
and it did. ESPN Richmond and Fitz the Bill, proud to be a sponsor for the Virginia Council of CEOs Fall Leaders Conference, September 25th. It's coming up quick. Check out the link in our Instagram bio at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA to get your tickets and use code FITZ at checkout. That's FITZ to be part of the event. Don't miss out on the Virginia Council of CEOs Fall Leaders Conference, September 25th. It's an awesome event open to business owners, executives, and their teams. Ross Bernstein, a best-selling author of 40 books, will be the keynote speaker. Head on over to the Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA Instagram. Check out our link in the bio to get tickets. Use code FITZ. And then also while you're there, you can follow along with Fitz the Bill. So you know what July is?
No.
List season. It's list season.
No.
Look, it's the dog days of summer. It's list season. And you know what just dropped yesterday? List of the top pass rushers in the NFL.
Okay, well, I'm down for this list.
According to executives, coaches, and scouts. Jeremy Fowler put out the survey, and it came back, and he got the top pass rushers in the NFL according to execs, coaches, and scouts. And my list differs just a hair from the list that Jeremy Fowler put together.
Is this the list coming from last season into this season?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't have to talk about anything anybody did in 2015 or 16.
No.
All right, let's go.
But I think you got to kind of put that into context a little bit.
I mean, yeah, you account for it a little bit, but
so like my number one pass rusher differs from the list's number one pass rusher. Because I valued the youngness that this pass rusher brings.
The youth, okay.
The youth. Like Micah Parsons is my number one pass rusher in the NFL right now. Alan's giving a face.
Who's
the list is Myles Garrett.
Yeah, it's Myles.
I have Myles second.
All right, so I value
the youngness of Micah Parsons.
We're talking hot takes. This is kind of a hot take, but I would suggest everybody go back and watch the film. Micah he's an amazing pass rusher, but he ain't he ain't really about that life. He goes against some guys that make him go back to linebacker or switch sides. He's got a little wilt in him. I'm not gonna lie. Trent Williams is one of the guys who will definitely put a hand in his chest, and he's not down for it. I saw Myles Garrett take Trent Williams, pick him up like a baby, and put him in Brock Purdy's lap. All right. So like when we're talking about edge rushers, there's levels to it. Myles is probably at the very he's the apex
there's
predator.
the reason why he's being paid like $40 million.
He's the apex predator.
I just value, again, I know I've said this 3 times now, but I value the youngness, like
the youth.
The youth, where I know I can get Micah for another 7 years. Myles, I'm probably only getting for 2 more years.
Yeah, it's a Rottweiler and a wolf. That's the difference that we're talking right now.
All right. So I have Myles second, not far off from Micah. Number 3, I got TJ Watt. TJ Watt on this list is number 2, and they've got Micah at 3. But again, TJ Watt, a little older. I value the youngest. I value the youngness of Micah. So TJ is my number 3.
I wonder if they docked Micah too because he's not 100% like edge rusher. You know, like
I wonder.
Sometimes he does go back to linebacker.
Yeah.
I wonder if they docked him for that.
Last year, Micah was ranked number 3 in this same list. So 126 pressures, a 31% pass rush win rate since 2023 leads the NFL for Micah.
All right, my bias here. Where's my boy Bosa?
Nick Bosa on my list is 8th.
You're disrespectful.
On the execs list, he's 5th.
I don't like them either, but okay.
In front of him is Max Crosby.
I'm definitely fighting that.
You know, you're going to fight mine then.
No, I mean, here's my thing with Max. A lot of pressures. Nothing against him. He's definitely a talented player, but he's a pressure guy that doesn't get sacks like at the same clip as some of these other elite edge rushers. So I often wonder, do we emphasize pressures and undervalue sacks, or is it the other way around? Like, how are we calculating this? Because if I got a guy who gets to the quarterback
but doesn't result in sacks,
but doesn't result.
Is he impacting the play?
He is, but is he impacting the play on the same level as like like I see Bosa get double teamed, triple teamed a lot.
Bosa, that is something, because when I do watch a 49ers game, Bosa sometimes does not jump off the screen, but it's because he's being double teamed.
He's got half the line on him. I mean, obviously nobody's just taking Max Crosby one-on-one all the time either, but I don't know. Maybe it's my bias. It's fine.
This is my hot take of the day. My 4th best edge rusher, pass rusher right now. You're going to hate this. I'm already prepping for the pushback. Jared Verse.
No, not at all.
Oh, really? I thought you would say that's way too high.
No. I love Florida State. Obviously love Jared Verse. I think Bob will also tell you I hyped him up before the draft last year, if he remembers. And Bob knows him well because he went to Albany. And as Eagle fans will attest, that man is a wrecking machine. And if you can wreck that offensive line, I don't care if you're a rookie, you have my utmost respect, because he beat every single person that they put on him. Everything they threw at him in that playoff game was enough for me to realize it. And then as a Niners fan, I see him twice a year, hate it. So I know he's good.
This is also what made me do it. Teron Armstead had a soundbite where he said one of the reasons why he retired.
Oh yeah,
was I never got to. I never want to see that man again. It's just you got to hear the pain in his voice.
Oh yeah.
He talked about, okay, I ain't putting the helmet back on. Give me the top 3 guys' reasons why.
That's a good question.
You ain't putting the helmet back on.
No lie. Okay. I'm going to say number 1, he was a rookie from the Rams. That young boy, Jared Verse, I'm cool. I'm good. I never got to see that man again. I'm all right with, I'm okay with that. Never seeing that young man again in my life. Bull Rush different. Dog, it's different. You know that it's coming. You brace yourself. He's different. Jared Verse is different. He will be a defensive player of the year one of these days. Mark my words.
Wow.
He's different.
High motor, understands leverage, and has everything you want. Like he's got good hands, good balance, good abnormal strength. Just needs to stay away from working out with Aaron Donald, and he'll have a long career.
Exactly.
Did you see that clip?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't call Aaron Donald out on workouts, man. He's different.
Aaron Donald's the type of kid do a workout with a Make-A-Wish kid, and that'd be the last wish that kid made.
That kid made it. He became a collegiate athlete.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a good story.
Yeah, it was.
Good for him.
But crazy.
I got Jared Verse in the top 5. I know 1 year, But that rookie year was fantastic.
I'm okay with
Jared.
that kind of a overreaction just based on his body of work. Like I said, against elite offensive line, and people know him even after his rookie season.
Yeah, 5th best. That's where I have Max Crosby.
Not an issue.
6th best. I have Aiden Hutchinson. I loved Aiden Hutchinson last year with the Detroit Lions, and I think that defensive line took a step back when he got hurt. I think he's very important to Detroit's defense.
I
got him over Nick Bosa.
Where's my guy Hendrickson?
He's next. He's
all right,
next.
I was like, why
But
is
again,
his name been called?
Youngness, I value youngness.
Yeah, youth.
I value the youth because Trey Hendrickson, he's 30,
He's
30,
30,
going to be
31.
30 and 31.
Yeah, I think.
He's really good.
Hutchinson's coming off of that
Achilles or
like
ACL?
his leg, I think,
broken.
Leg? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the issue with that is going to be just getting used to pushing off of that leg again. Is the strength going to return? And for him, his first step
is so important.
Yeah, it was his biggest strength. So I hope there's not a huge drop off, but I'm not optimistic. It's a tough injury to come back from at that position.
So I have Trey Hendrickson 7, Nick Bosa 8. 9th is Will Anderson Jr. I think he's just fun down in Houston.
He's a stud.
And he's been balling. And then 10th, here's another hot take one. I already got Abdul Carter in the top 10. I know he hasn't done anything in the NFL. Dude could be a massive bust. I will stand here with egg on my face if Abdul Carter's a massive bust.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Abdul's got to show me something before I
look. Abdul Carter. If you could put Brian Burns there, you could do a lot of different ways for number 10. I wanted to go with Abdul Carter. I want to plant my flag in him being the best edge rusher in the NFL in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I gotta see it.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
I get that. I don't have to see it. I saw it at Penn State. That is translatable to the NFL.
No, 100%. And I will counter that we should throw a little bit of respect on this young man's name, even though he
Daniel Hunter?
No, Nolan Smith. He might not have cracked the top 10 just yet, but I think his impact is being felt and is going to be even more impactful coming into this next season. So I would have put him at 10th as a fan and just with optimism, similar to what you're saying with Abdul Carter. I think he's on his way.
I like Nolan Smith. That's a good pull.
He's crazy athletic.
Eagles fans must love us today. Nolan Smith. We talked about Randall Cunningham in the beginning of the show.
I will sing praises to everything in Philadelphia. They don't have an overrated soul on that field.
Jalen Hurts.
I don't think Jalen Hurts is overrated either, man. Sirianni. I said on the field. That's why I emphasize on the field.
Standing? Where's he standing?
Sometimes he does come on the field. I'm not a huge Sirianni guy.
I'm not a big Sirianni fan at all.
But again, he's winning, and as long as he continues to pick a good staff, he'll continue to win because everything else is in place, man. But we're talking defense. They've got so many athletes. I just think Nolan's going to be so good next year.
Yeah. So my top 10 pass rushers: Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Jared Verse, Max Crosby, Aiden Hutchinson, Trey Hendrickson, Nick Bosa, Will Anderson Jr., and Abdul Carter.
Can you print that out so I can send it to Nick and let him know
send it to Nick?
Yeah,
you'll FedEx it overnight.
Oh, for sure, because that's the perfect motivation for him.
Yep. Some talk show host in Richmond says he's the 8th best pass rusher.
Where did that list have him on? He was out the top 5 on that list too.
On the list, he was just in the top 5 at 5.
Okay, just in the top 5 at 5.
The highest he's ever been rated in this list was 3. He dropped a spot from last year's ranking because he was 4th last year. He only has 19.5 sacks over the last 2 seasons, where Trey Hendrickson has 17.5 in both of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, Trey is high production. That's why I go back to, and this is even questioning me, right? Like I got Bosa over Hendrickson, but Hendrickson has the stats, right? He's got the sacks, and I know that Bosa has the pressures. Again, it's the same argument I had with Max Crosby. Big pressure guy.
22.2% pass rush win rate is also really impressive.
Yeah.
So just 1 out of every 4 reps, he is winning his rep with his offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That's essentially what pass rush win rate is. It's how often. It's another one of my nerd stats that I love to cite. It's a fun one. You can also get pass block win rate. That's essentially 1-on-1 Nick Bosa against the left tackle. Who's winning it? Bosa is winning it 1 out of every 4 times. Just 1 every 5 times, essentially. Which, hey, good for Nick Bosa, but I just need to see a little bit more production from him. I think Max Crosby has the production with the pressures. I want to see a little bit more sacks from him. Just 19 and a half sacks over the last 2 years won't get it done for me. So Nick Bosa is 8th. Man, Jared Verse, he's going to be a problem for years to come.
Just want to point out, you as a Seahawks fan said you want to see more sacks from a 49er player. I agree.
Yeah, they can come in all of the games, not play together. He's going to eat Sam Darnold alive.
He will, of course. I mean, he played for our team. So
look, how upset this makes me that Nick Bosa is a top 10 pass rusher and Jared Verse.
Yes.
That's 4 games a season for the Seattle Seahawks, who have, mind you, one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL.
And I think the Cardinals got somebody that might have some.
They had Chandler Jones for a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got that guy from the Eagles, Josh Sweat.
Yeah. It's going to be rough for Seattle.
NFC West has some of the NFC West and the AFC North have some of the best pass rushers in the NFL. So
here's a question real quick before you go to break. As a quarterback, would you rather face a team that you played with an offensive-minded head coach or a team that you played with a defensive-minded head coach?
If I'm a quarterback,
so
I would rather play an offensive-minded head coach.
So the guy that kind of trained you / coached you up, knows you back and forth, or the guy that just, like if you're playing against a Belichick.
It's like Sean McVay or Todd Bowles.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Essentially, yes. That's what I'm asking.
I would rather go up against Sean McVay because Todd Bowles' is like blitz schemes, his craziness on defense would throw me in a tailspin as a quarterback.
See, I would be more afraid of the guy that knows like my weaknesses top to bottom, that designed the plays for me.
That's
over the guy that, essentially like Bill again.
But
Bowles.
The defensive guy may know those weaknesses because he's a film hound. Yeah. And he can also disguise things better because just as much as he knows your weaknesses, you know his weaknesses.
We should probably not use McVay too because
that's a bad. He's one of the greatest of all time.
He can recall plays from 2014.
Let's say Kyle Shanahan. Then Kyle Shanahan against Todd Bowles. I'd rather go up against Kyle Shanahan because also he's known for blowing leads late.
Oh yeah,
that gives me a great chance for a fourth quarter comeback.
Unnecessary swipe, but yes.
Hey, it's a necessary swipe. News or snooze coming up.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So the kids' back-to-school lists were extra long.
Extra long sounds extra expensive.
Staples had everything at amazing prices.
Suspiciously amazing if you ask me.
Some items were just 25 cents. Plus, as an Easy Rewards member, I got 30% back in points on my kids' school supplies.
Jumpin' jellyfish. Your back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 719. Exclusions apply. Single use per week up to $60 in points. See app for details. In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Hi, this is Joe Simpson with the Atlanta Braves. Keep it locked here on 106.1 ESPN, your home for the Atlanta Braves all season long.
Sorry, Lupe Fiasco. Sometimes a vibe.
It is.
Kick push. Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Thursday, July 10th morning. We're going to go right on out to the phone lines. Reggie is out there on line one. Good morning, Reggie. How are we doing?
Hey, gentlemen. It's a sad day in Pantherland. We lost one of our young lions on the football team. A young man named was Terry Ford, a.k.a. Too Short. It was back in the day with Coach Bailey. And get this now, guys. He was about 5'4", 5'5", and played nose guard. And was a bad man.
Wow, 5'4", playing nose guard.
Too Short. Yes, sir. Ooh. Yes, sir. Man, if you look on the Facebook page, you'll see him on the bench. I'm getting a breather with the neck brace on. I mean, old school. This was back in the 70s, early 80s. And this is when Coach Bailey was there. And I tell you what, Too Short, Terry Ford made a transition to Zardie Vance. That's yesterday. So rest in peace. So I'm sure you'll be hearing a little bit about that, Jack, from the people at Union. But the reason I really want to call, I got to give Coach Prime credit for taking total command of that press conference. He gave love to the commissioner, gave love to the janitor, gave love to reporters. He told the female reporters, I want you to go first. And once again, some in the media wants to change the subject. He's there to talk about the team, and they want to know about his health, and not to sit back and give them prayers, but to demonize them. And I like the way he called out some of the media people that was at his neck and said, yeah, Dallas star, y'all guy was on me. I remember he said, no, I'm not. I just got that. No, I had nothing to do with it. So he was putting the media kind of on the defense. I want to get you guys' thoughts about that and a follow-up, if I may.
Yeah, Deion Sanders was out there doing his Deion Sanders thing and was calling for the salary cap and everything. He was having a good little opening press conference there at Big 12 Media Days.
Yeah, as you can see, anything he says is going to be like a lightning rod.
Oh, I mean, he could say he doesn't wear socks, and that's going to draw headlines for the next 5 days.
Yeah. It was just amazing just to see that. How you guys think Michael Vick going to do in his first camp this year? I think it's going to be a rough ride because he and Deshaun Jackson, Delaware State, it's one thing to bring in top NFL players, but as we saw with Magic Johnson and some others, everybody's not like Larry Bird. Larry Bird was able to do a great job coaching, but some players just because you're there and you have the charisma doesn't mean that it's going to translate to the team, playing up to your level.
I think it's going to be a rough ride too for Vic down in his first season in Norfolk State. I think he will be successful though. I think he's put together a pretty good staff, a lot of them with prior coaching experience, and he's made the right moves. Delaware State might be a little bit more tough for Deshaun Jackson, but I think Norfolk State, with what they have in men's basketball, they have the buy-in for athletics. I think Vic will eventually kind of right the ship and will get some good success down there at Norfolk State, but I think this first year might be a little rough for him.
Yeah, my issue is that the one thing that with Virginia State and Latrell Scott, he had former Washington football team coaches on the staff, NFL players who won Super Bowls. That translated into CWA championships. if you have, because I don't know if I had a chance to look at Deion's staff. I think Brian Leftwich and some other people are joining the staff now. I mean, it's loaded from top to bottom with former NFL coaches and players. Do you think having an NFL staff on the college level helps, or does it hurt as far as getting the team together?
I think it helps to a point, especially in today's day and age with NIL and kind of dealing with it at a more professional level. It definitely helps. I mean, Colorado with Marshall Faulk, Warren Sapp, he does have these big names in there helping him out, some of his friends. But I think they also have to be good coaches. Like that is more important than being a former player. Like Warren Sapp, it seems like, is a very good defensive line coach. And Byron Leftwich proved that he was a very good quarterbacks coach at the NFL level. I think that's more important. So if their names were Rod Smith and Joe Smith, and they were very good coaches, that would matter just as much as them being Warren Sapp and Byron Leftwich.
Right. Okay. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Reggie. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
Yeah, I think it just matters if the guys can coach.
Exactly.
But if you can coach and you have that NFL experience, definitely a plus.
Yes. That's very well said. Essentially, what I was trying to say, you said it even better, because with the current landscape of it all, it helps to have someone with professional experience in there. But if you have the professional experience, but you don't know how to coach, then you're actually hurting your team. I think Vic knows how to coach. I think Vic will be good down in Norfolk State eventually, but I think there will be a slight learning curve for him in year one down there.
Yeah, and to be fair, like a guy like Deion, even Vic, man, they don't necessarily have to air quote coach.
Yeah, just make the right hires.
Manage. Well, the best college coaches are typically the best managers.
Best NFL coaches too.
Yeah.
You're a CEO. You are a CEO of a team.
If we put together a list of the top coaches, a small percentage would probably be considered like X and O, like heavy guys.
And probably at the top would be Mike Tomlin, right?
Yeah. Like Nick Saban was a great coach. That was sarcasm too. Nick Saban was a great coach, but look at the staff that he had.
Yes.
And the one thing he couldn't get necessarily right per se was the offense, as far as bringing out the best and modernizing it. So what did he do? He went out and got offensive coordinators that used to be head coaches like Lane Kiffin and Sarkisian. Things opened up, and then you became a total machine.
Yeah.
But like you could, like everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses. I think Deion is a great manager. I've seen some adjustments being made when he's coaching, because I complained about that last year, and I thought that was the difference. Is it seemed like him and his staff were on the same page in that second year, so they had a better season, in my opinion.
I think they're going to have a really good year 3.
He's got to figure out his quarterback, but I mean, it's a good problem to have because they're both talented.
I mean, he'll probably go with Caden Salter from Liberty, just because I think he has that starting experience and winning experience. But I mean, that was a 5-star kid he flipped from USC.
Yeah, no, he's not a bum.
Not a bum at all. And Salter has 1 year, maybe you redshirt the other kid, let him learn behind him or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to some news or snooze, because Reggie, he brought up Deion Sanders, and that's going to be our very first news or snooze.
News or snooze.
All right, so Deion Sanders, number 1. Deion Sanders says college football needs a salary cap. Deion Sanders said this at Big 12 Media Days.
So I'm really not going to tell you much. All right. You know that. But I'm not here to talk about my health. I'm here to talk about my team.
Do you know what an average day look like for you on the ranch?
Average day, I'm looking good. I'm living lovely. God has truly blessed me. Not a care in the world. Not a want or desire in the world.
Now, was that supposed to be, did I play the wrong soundbite? 100% I did, because that was supposed to be him saying that college football needs a hard salary cap.
Oh, man, I was wondering where that was. I was like, that sounds like the clip of him insulting the guy from The Athletic. But
that's my fault. I did select the wrong one. I did link the wrong one.
So here you go. Snoozeworthy there.
That's snoozeworthy. However, him saying that was playing, I was like, why are we talking about a ranch? This is not the soundbite I chose. That's what happens when you insert the wrong link. Deion Sanders saying college football needs a salary cap is newsworthy. That's newsworthy. And I agree with him, because there just needs to be some sort of, and there is kind of that quote unquote salary cap, right? The revenue sharing is set at $20.5 million some odd dollars that schools can directly pay their student athletes, but there's no salary cap on NIL. And even though that these NIL deals of $600 or more still need to go through this clearinghouse, led by Deloitte or one of those weird consulting firms, they still have to do that. There still is no salary cap. So if you have legit donors who are giving them legit NIL opportunities to make those money, you could spend $40 million on a roster between revenue share and your NIL. There is no salary cap. I think there just needs to be a lot more regulation. I think there needs to be more policing of promises, because right now in college football, I think you can promise a lot and deliver a little, and then you can blame it on the student athletes. I know last year with UNLV, that was pre everything that happened on July 1st with the House settlement. But with Matthew Saluka, the current JMU quarterback, he transferred in from Holy Cross to UNLV, played 4 games, then left the program to retain his red shirt because he was not being paid what he was promised. That is still happening, even in this new quote unquote era of college football. That's still happening. And that is something that I think needs to be addressed. And maybe that is addressed through a salary cap, and we kind of adjust the way that we pay these athletes, because paying these athletes is here. That's not changing. We're not going to go back. Now let's figure out a way to properly pay them. Maybe it's revenue sharing, but I don't see that being the long-term answer. I think the long-term answer is just creating a full salary cap system that is similar to the professional sports. And he's got to professionalize college sports a little bit more. Billions of dollars are being thrown around from the NCAA through media rights deals and everything like that. Billions of dollars. It makes sense that you got to professionalize it a little bit.
He had something else in there too, and he was talking about making the rules more conforming to what the NFL has. So like 2 feet in instead of 1 foot, and pass interference being the spot foul. Yeah, like things like that. I like the 2 feet thing, but the spot foul, I don't really like that in the NFL.
I don't like that in the NFL.
Yeah, so,
I think the NFL should do the college football way.
And I'm like, in college, oh man, you got to understand, again, they're not as professional or refined as they are in the NFL. There'd be a lot of issues there.
Jamar Chase was playing against an accountant some weekends.
Yeah.
You expect that accountant not to pass interfere with him?
Well, Jamar Chase with
Joe Burrow.
With Jetta too.
Yeah, like you got Joe Burrow throwing to all of them, and then they're being guarded by Vanderbilt. All of them are looking to be professional accountants,
Seriously,
not professional football players.
When we look back on that team, it's just not fair.
I'm watching Quarterback on Netflix. The relationship Joe Burrow has with Jamar Chase is awesome.
Yeah, they're boys for sure.
They're boys, and the fact that they get it is really cool. But they were showing highlights of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase from LSU, and it's just like, that's not fair, man. Like Jamar would literally just do and then all of a sudden he'd be wide open, and Joe would be like, "All right, here you go."
Yeah, I knew it wasn't fair when they got into the shootout with Texas, and at no point did they look like they were even sweating, and Texas was giving them everything they had.
It's like when you're the older sibling, like holding back your younger sibling, not even trying, and your younger sibling is like, "I want to," and just you're like,
70 spot, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. Headline number 2. This one is more of a storyline that's happening. The Dodgers slumping in historic ways. The Dodgers have lost now 6 straight. The first time that they have lost 6 straight in years. And this storyline, folks, it's snoozeworthy. They've spent enough money. We can all laugh at them, right? Like at this point, we can just laugh at the Dodgers' inability to win a baseball game. And it's only 6 games in a row that they've lost. It's not like it's 7. It's not like they've done it twice this season. Sorry, I had to take the swipe at the Braves. But the Dodgers,
that was, wow, what did we do? I'm just sitting here.
Swipe at Kyle Shanahan this morning, or swipe at the Braves.
I'm just sitting here.
Look, the Dodgers, this is their worst run differential over 6 games since 1958, which I believe was the first year that they were in Los Angeles after moving from Brooklyn.
I got to agree with you. You lose 6 in a row. Was it 6 in a row?
6 in a row.
And they're still 5 games up.
They're still 5 games up. They are 4-6 over their last 10. So they were 4-0 in those games. But I mean, they'll be fine. It's a similar thing to the Yankees. They have granted, the Yankees, their little slump here has cost them from first in the AL East to second in the AL East. But in the NL West, they still have a 5-game lead over the Giants, because the Giants are also struggling a little bit. Padres also struggling a bit over their last 10. Dodgers are fine. They'll find their rhythm. They went to Milwaukee and they had too many brewskis. That's all. They're feeling a little heavy there in each one of their games. First time ever, though, that the Brewers were able to sweep the Dodgers in Milwaukee. First time in the history of the Brewers and the Dodgers.
Yeah,
that's an interesting fact.
That is an interesting fact. They probably play a lot too.
They've swept them twice before, both times happening in Los Angeles. That was the first time in Milwaukee. Just a little fun fact for you.
And I'll throw the Dodgers a bone. Despite all the money they spent, they still do have a pretty banged up pitching rotation.
You know, I feel like every year we talk about the Dodgers' banged up pitching rotation.
Yeah.
I feel like Dave Roberts should look inward and think, maybe I should hire a new training staff.
I'm all about slandering.
Same
Dave
with
Roberts,
Braves. Same with the Braves.
Watch it.
You need to hire a new training staff. Look at the injuries. I'm not wrong.
Some of that stuff we can't help it. The oblique thing finally got fixed, but now it's everything else.
And that's everything else. All right. The third and final headline for Newsers News today. Big 12, quote, striving for multiple teams in the college football playoff. This is, what do you think this one is?
Snoozeworthy?
Yeah, it's newsworthy. You're right. You knew where I was going with it. The Big 12, they are in support. This part of it's newsworthy.
Big who?
Big who? The pack who?
Yeah,
the big and pack who?
What are we talking about?
They should just combine forces at this point. The Big 12 is in support, though, of the 5+11 college football model, which means the Big 12, ACC, and SEC all are in support of that model. The only one not is the Big 10, who's in support of the 4+4+2+2, which would give 4 automatic bids to the Big 10 and the SEC, then 2 automatic bids to the Big 12 and the ACC, and then they'll fill out the rest. The 5+11 model means each Power 4 conference champion would get an automatic bid to the college football playoff, and then the highest ranked group of 5 champion would then get that 5th automatic bid, and then there'd be 11 at-larges. Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, said, quote, 5+11 is fair. We want to earn it on the field. It might not be the best solution today for the Big 12, but long-term, knowing the progress we're making, the investments we're making, it's the right format for us, and I'm doubling down today on 5+11. I think that is a fantastic way to look at it, because if you do the 4+4+2+2 method, then you're really kind of putting yourself into a corner where you can't get more teams, and you're sacrificing the long-term. I like Brett Yormark's outlook on this, where if we do the 5+11, maybe next year we only get 1 team in the college football playoff like we did last year with Arizona State. But maybe in 5 years, we get 3 teams in, we get 4 teams in, we get 5 teams in, because we have that many good teams in the Big 12. I like the thinking from Brett Yormark. It is a very optimistic way of thinking, something that the Big 10 is not capable of doing. Yormark would later go on to say, I'm confident we'll get to the right place, and ultimately I'm confident we'll go to 5+11.
So the only reason why I say it's newsworthy is because when you're talking about the landscape of this playoff format changing, it needs to come from the players, like the big players. So that would be the Big 10 or the SEC, not the Big 12.
Well, but the SEC is also, the coaches have now, and it's forced Sankey to be in support of the 5+11. So you've got the ACC expected to voice their support publicly at ACC Media Days later this month, which Matt Josephs and I will be at, reporting live from down there. We'll listen to Jim Phillips and say what he and report on what he has to say about going to that 5+11 model. The SEC has voiced their support over the 5+11 model. Big Ten's the only one now that's in favor of the other way, but I don't think they have publicly come out and said that just yet. So it seems like 3 of the 4 power conferences like the 5+11 model. Yeah, and I think that's the way to go. And that part's newsworthy. The parts that's newsworthy, though, is the quote, is the storyline, is the headline, where the Big 12 is, quote, striving for multiple teams in the college football playoff. Well, I sure as hell hope so. Imagine if he's one of my favorite games to play, and I urge you to play this at home. When you read a headline, put it in the negative. So that is, to me, the mark of a good headline is Big 12 striving for multiple teams in the college football playoff. Yeah, no duh. Read that in the negative. How stupid would that sound? Big 12 not striving for multiple teams in the college football playoff. That's a snoozeworthy headline. But the story underneath the story, Big 12 in support, and Brett Yormark is doing the right approach with it all. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside, be back with more Fitz the Bill on this, what is today? Thursday morning.
Colonial Downs Summer Racing is now through Saturday, September 13th with racing 4 days a week. Afternoon racing on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12:30 Eastern and Twilight Post of 4 p.m. Eastern every Friday. Join us on Saturday, August 9th for the Festival of Racing featuring 7 stakes races, including the Grade 1 Arlington Million. For more information on Colonial Downs Summer Racing Season, visit colonialdowns.com. That's colonialdowns.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
This is Joe and Q. Herb Simon and Stephen Rails, we're fully prepared to go deep into the tax to keep him.
Kind of find it hard to believe that Miles Turner would just up and go, especially to Milwaukee, unless he just doesn't see success in this organization moving forward, especially with Halliburton being out presumably this year. Right now, to me, it feels like an organization that's just trying to appease the fan base.
Joe and Q, weekdays from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Jerry Jones continues to wait on Michael Parsons. I have a mantra for the Dallas Cowboys: a day late and $1 more.
Yeah, put it.
That's what they do when it comes to their contracts with their star players. They did it with CeeDee Lamb. They did it with Dak Prescott, and they're going to do it with Michael Parsons, and it's going to significantly shorten their runway.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. This is Freddie and Harry.
Oh, I'm definitely buying the hype on the Rams. That defensive line with all those young dudes led by Jared Verse and company, they're going to be special once again. They improved the secondary as well. Offensively, Matthew Stafford, that offensive line, Kyron Williams running the football, and that Devontae Adams guy. He's good. With Puka Nacua, yeah, you know how good he is. Yeah, I think they are that team that will be the biggest challenger to the Eagles in the NFC.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey, Richmond, looking for more Fitz the Bill content and behind-the-scenes looks into the show? Well, follow us on Instagram at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA. You'll get all of the clips, exclusive hot takes, and so much more. Follow us at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA on Instagram. Fitz the Bill on this Thursday morning, July 10th. Get your hot takes in. Get them in. Text them in, 804-327-0888. Only rule is you have to believe it. You have to believe it. So far, the leader in the clubhouse for best hot take is Tyrese Maxey. Will average 31, 7, and 4 this upcoming season for the Philadelphia 70. It was an early entry, but man, it came out so hot that it has maintained its lead up until now.
Like Bruce is going to make me make a hot take like sounder.
Yeah.
That was
book
crazy.
Book it. We got a couple sounders in the hopper that we got to make. What are we doing? And hot take alert.
Yes. What are we doing? I think that's the slogan for this show. My mantra outside of the show is I've been saying that a lot. I don't know why, but people have been getting too far ahead of themselves.
Thought you caught yourself $1.
Yeah, especially our ESPN National there. Fire Matt LaFleur. Come on now, buddy.
No. So we did get a text in from this. It was Jordan earlier on in the show asking about what our thoughts were on the new Washington Commanders jerseys. And yesterday they came out right around 9 a.m. and we reacted to them live. And I didn't have the best reaction to them. I went in with really high expectations. I wanted a crazy color, a throwback logo. Granted, probably couldn't do a throwback logo because of the, So I went in with really high expectations. and it didn't fully meet my expectations. Then I spent some time with it, right? I sat with myself. I went to my darkness retreat. I saw Aaron Rodgers there. I said, hey, man, are you going to win? Never mind. I went to my darkness retreat, and I came out of it, and I like the jerseys. I like the jerseys. Seeing them side by side with the old Commanders jerseys and what these will be was kind of eye-opening, the complete differences. Because in my mind, seeing the new jerseys, I was like, those are pretty similar to the current ones. And then seeing them side by side, I was like, oh, they are nowhere near similar to each other. And seeing the nods to it, the nameplate has the correct font from the teams that they are honoring with this. 10 out of 10. I really, really like the jerseys. They're simple, they're good, and they honor the Super Bowl champions of past as the Commanders look to win their first Super Bowl since the 90s. And it just made me think, with all of the good news with the Commanders in these last, 365 days, have we ever seen an owner change a franchise this much? Since taking over for Dan Snyder, the disgraced Dan Snyder, Josh Harris and his group has done a complete 180 on the image of the Commanders. The uniform, the latest example, because everyone in the comment. Now, the one thing was bring back the old name. Where's the old logo? Blah, 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 blah. So that's the only negative, but even that's not really a negative. Everything was positive about it. And I don't think I've ever seen a positive Twitter thread in my life. And it was all positive. It is insane what he has been able to do to change this franchise from being the butt of every single NFL joke and the controversies and scandals that just ran through Washington. And he changed it all. I don't think I've ever seen an owner change a franchise this much since buying it.
I'm trying to think of disgraced franchises over the years in my lifetime. I don't know if we've seen. I don't know if I can recall off the top of my head a franchise that like the owner was in a federal scandal because he had some issues there.
The biggest scandal that I remember seeing was either the Clippers or the Panthers because of racism.
Yes, I think those two might have been, but the Panthers didn't turn it around like that. And the
Clippers didn't really.
Clippers kind of, but it wasn't to this level where like they're standing in. Well, you know what? Maybe it was because the standing of the Clippers before that, they were awful.
No, but when Sterling was forced to sell to Steve Ballmer, they were an NBA playoff
you're right.
team.
That was the Lob City.
Lob City.
Yeah. So yeah,
and Ballmer hasn't gotten them past the mark that they had gotten as Lob City. So
yeah, maybe you're right.
Because looking at it, I did just take a look at like the most recent sales of the last like 5 years or so, and it's been about 40% good and 60% bad if the sale benefited the team or not. So the good ones, the Commanders, I would loop the Hornets into being a good sale because Michael Jordan was leading that team nowhere, and they've seemingly made the right moves. Maybe jury's still out on the Charlotte Hornets, but it seems like the new ownership group has gotten them to turn the corner a little bit. Now it's a huge ship. It takes some time to fully turn, but they're in the process of doing it. The New York Mets, that sale benefited the team. And you know what the through line between the Mets and the Commanders is? It was sold to a billionaire who was a fan of the team. It was sold to a billionaire who has vested emotional interest in success of the team. It wasn't sold to just some billionaire that wanted this thing in their portfolio to add to their net worth. Josh Harris genuinely cares about the Commanders, and Steve Cohen with the Mets genuinely cares about the Mets. And I think Cohen, some ups and downs in his early tenure, but for the most part, I would say he is a net positive for the New York Mets. Broncos, they're a positive as well-ish. They sell the team. They then decide we're getting rid of Russell Wilson. We're doing Sean Payton, blah, 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 blah. And then they have seemingly turned the corner too to being a respectable franchise. The bad ones, the Nets, they went all in after the sale on getting KD, James Harden, Kyrie, and that blew up in their face. And now they just had 5 draft picks in the first round of the NBA draft, and none of them seemed to get praise. So the Nets, they're bad. The really, really bad ones, the Suns and the Panthers.
Yes.
Like, those are the really bad ones. And
well,
then
the Suns, the Panthers are turning the corner.
kind of. So, I mean, yeah, they've turned the corner. Bryce Young should be good.
Yeah.
But, the Suns really bad.
Yeah. Suns are definitely taking the mantle of worst run franchise in all of sports. Like, seriously.
4 coaches in 4 years. All of the coaches that they had hired had NBA championship experience, and none of them have been. I don't think any of them been the coach's fault. Ishbia came in, he trades for KD. Things look like they're going the right way, and then it turns out it's not the greatest. So, yikes. TBD still out on the Celtics and the Lakers, who just were sold recently as well.
Well, the Celtics, we'll see how it works for them. I still don't understand if the previous owners did that to make them seem more valuable or what, but they really hurt the people inheriting the team, because once they got done with this 1 year, it's like, bam, you're in second apron territory. So you got to get rid of everybody, basically. It was almost like they got hustled a little bit. Like you bought them at their highest value, and you're like, look at what I got. And then
they're like,
Tatum gets hurt, and then you got to get rid of all the assets that made you a complete team.
And you're like, good luck, new ownership.
Pretty much.
For the Lakers, the ownership group that bought the Lakers low-key got hustled too. Did you see what came out about Jeannie Buss?
No, what came out about
So
it?
they're still finalizing the deal. And then once the deal is finalized and they transfer ownership to the new ownership group, Jeannie Buss is allowed to stay, is going to stay on as like the head of the president of like basketball operations or something for at least 5 years.
Oh man, yeah, that does stink.
So she just like gets to stick around. And these sales typically take like 2 years or so. So in their press release, they said she'll like still be controlling the team for the foreseeable future. So it kind of feels like the Lakers got hustled a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Jeannie Buss has kind of been an issue.
But that ownership group has shown pockets are deep, and it's also super ironic that Magic is a part of that ownership. So I would imagine he'll have a very active role
after everything that wasn't he the GM for Pelinka or something like that?
Yeah, he was there before LeBron, actually.
Yeah, he was there.
The infamous "I'm not gonna be here" soundbite. I'll never forget that. It was great.
Magic. So jury's still on the Celtics and Lakers, but selling a team doesn't always benefit the team. And for the Commanders, I think this is the most benefit the team has ever had after being sold. Just a complete image, just change, just scandal after scandal after scandal, federal investigation after federal investigation. And the jersey announcement yesterday was just like the latest example of it being a complete change. Now, if Harris changes him back to the Redskins, I think that man could run for president. He'd be elected
for sure. But I don't know if he's going to do that.
I hope he doesn't.
It's funny though. You see teams get picked up by people who are genuinely fans, and it just seems like a happier atmosphere. I'm going to interject with the Mavericks, right? Like Cuban was a fan.
That was another good one.
Yeah,
Cuban was a fan,
and he he sold them to somebody that's business.
And what did they do?
Yeah,
the first move.
Yeah, so it's funny that dynamic, right? Like you see a difference in it. Like I want to say Jerry's a fan of the Cowboys, but he's probably the pariah there because he's a fan, but he still runs it like a business. So you're kind of confused on what he's doing here. But like Harris picking up the Commanders was definitely a big bump for them because Snyder was a fan, but you could tell it was business first.
He was also bad at football management.
Yeah.
Like Josh Harris at least knows what it takes to be a good owner in a sports league because of his experience with the Flyers and the 76ers.
It seems less scummy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Snyder's business dealings, man. Like if you go back and look at what he was in front of Congress for, supposed to be in front of Congress for.
He said he was on his yacht in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, that and the acquisition of the yacht itself. The funds and where that came from, all that's very shady.
One of my favorite things that Snyder did is that he forced the I think they were the Redskins at the time, might have been the football team. He forced them to pay him to have their logo on his jet. And it's just like, you own the team and you own the jet. So you're paying yourself a fee. What? Huh?
It makes complete sense.
And
right?
I think that was another thing that was part of the federal probe into it. I remember reading a whole expose on that one thing on ESPN. That was funny. Every month the new Snyder news dropped.
And I don't think, honestly, at the end of the day, that anything was going to come out the federal stuff with Snyder, but it's just good not to have
a FBI.
Yeah, the controversy. Yeah,
literally the FBI hanging
in your
over
office. In your office,
taking all of your like notes and everything
because there was a personnel issue too, right? With like cheerleaders or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is some sexual harassment accusations against him.
He had a
and some of his high up people.
He had a pretty
bullying, toxic culture as well within the
pretty long laundry list there on the exit.
You name it, he probably had a scandal about it. And now Josh Harris has come in and he's turned around the team entirely. So
the prodigal son.
And he brought back the Super Bowl jerseys. Everyone's excited about it, and they look good.
The irony, 76ers fans would not say that about Josh Harris.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing. Philadelphia 76ers despise Josh Harris, and yet he comes down to D.C. and he is loved.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he spends all this time in D.C. now with the Commanders. He knows Philly hates him so much. All right, folks, stay locked on 106.1 ESPN because we are the spot where RVA talks sports. We've got Braves baseball tonight, another game against the Athletics. And between now and then, RVA's best sports talk, Clinton and Friends, 10 to noon, Joe and Q from 12 until 3. Then we're back live and local right here from the capital of the Commonwealth. Matt Josephs, 3 to 4 with Border to Border. Bob Black joins him from 4 to 5 with the Mashup Hour. And Bob Black takes you right on home with the Sports Huddle from 5 until 6. For now, that's going to do it for Fitz the Bill. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. The winner of the hot takes, it goes to Bruce with his Tyrese Maxey take.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1.